What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record what is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk. We are in the building, and this is the international version of the Ball Hog Sports Talk because I'm coming to you from undisclosed Caribbean location. Hence, I got on my Caribbean attire. And the Grand came in for a wedding. So
Undisclosed.
I decided
That's like
Cyprus in Jamaica.
Yeah.
What? Oh, my bad.
My bad.
I don't know where they're at. I don't know
Exactly.
Police will never find them, but they're at my mama's house. I'm coming to get y'all.
Big flex, baby. First time here is beautiful. It is expensive, but it is not going to stop us from getting the Ball Hog Sports Talk done. This crew is committed to bringing you sports, business, and entertainment. And that's where the three of those things collide because you have a few businessmen to get together and discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. That is what the Ball Hog Sports Talk is. Today's episode is going by the title of The Untrained Eye. And to the untrained eye, you might think this shirt don't look right, but I'm in the Caribbean. To the untrained eye, a lot of the business and the sports conversations that we have across the country, or in this case, across the world, don't get into the nuance. And so today we're going to get into some of the nuances. We're going to get into some of the details, and we're going to make sure that we go beyond just the untrained eye. It's sports, it's business, it's entertainment, and it's coming to you. So with no further ado, boys and girls, dogs and frogs, cats and rats, pull up a nice, comfortable chair. Make sure you got a nice, large mug of that good coffee. Throw some in it, or spice and some whiskey if you want. But what you want to do is get ready because the Ball Hog Sports Talk is coming to you. So let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go, 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 go. What's up? You know what it is. We're in the building, man. Coming to you, man. International travel will not stop the show. The revolution shall be televised. The revolution is making sure that we think of business concepts when it comes to sports topics, and that's how sports, business, and we do it in entertaining fashion, and entertainment collide. The whole crew's in the building, man. We got ETP coming to you on the left, normally on the right, but straight out of the Beantown and into the East Coast. He is the one known as Ellis, the producer, the one known as the Boston Celtics and Patriots fan, but also the one known as on this show, someone who's going to bring that funk today. What's up, ETP?
Doing well, man. Happy Friday. Breathing a little bit easier today now that the forest fire smoke is hopefully past us in the Northeast, in the New York, New Jersey area. So hopefully everybody's staying safe.
Yeah, be safe, man. Bring in, and I hear the dog in the back barking. Make sure y'all bring in y'all pets. That's why I make sure to say that because they deserve air quality too. Make sure that if you outside, put on a mask or something. Don't mess around with this, y'all, because people coming up short left and right with bad air quality. So I appreciate you bringing that up, ETP. It has been an interesting, it felt like the apocalypse in the East Coast in Jersey to see the orange skies, to smell the constant smell of burning, to feel the thick air. It has felt surreal.
That just happened when you barbecued, B.
Say that again.
I thought that just happened when you was barbecuing.
You thought you just barbecuing? It seriously, man. And then what day was that? That was Wednesday. Like the sky was perfect during the morning, and then all of a sudden, around like 12-ish or so, It just started looming and getting bigger, and the wind started coming, and all of a sudden we were boom right back into the same poor air quality situation. So we got ETP in the building. We also got my man, the Big Flow Show, the man, the myth, the legend, thou who shall be intergalactically known as and respected as the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Nothing, man. Just trying to appreciate good, clean air. I saw that myself, and I remember, sending a message to you guys, and E sent the picture outside his house. I couldn't believe what you guys are dealing with. All I could think of was like that post 9/11 dust that was messing people up. So I'm like, man, about to offer E a space to stay. Come on, I know you were leaving the country. I didn't know how long it would linger. Did you guys get like a big wind or something, or it just kind of dissipated?
I think it was.
I think the fires have been sustained at this point, or they're put out. But yeah, everything for the most part, unless it kicks back up, it seems like, the air quality is back to relatively fresh air for the area. But yeah, it was like a jet stream that pushed everything our way, and
it's amazing how connected we are. Yeah,
I wonder if New York went back to smelling like urine, or did it take the smell away?
I don't want to even. I don't know how to answer that question. But
New York has never been known for its potpourri smells, so maybe
but to have a constant, perpetual smell of something burning, and then to have, you heard people coughing and gagging the whole day. It was bad. It was clearly something was wrong. So make sure you take care of yourselves. To the untrained eye, when you see something like that, you immediately think of the worst, but also makes you appreciate the now. So let's appreciate this now and get into this show about sports business entertainment, because it's been an interesting week for sports. Now, you all probably thought I was going to come on here bitching and moaning because my Miami Heat lost game 3. I ain't going out like that. We're going to be just fine. We're going to get to that. But before we do, when it comes to the NBA Finals, there was a particular interview after game 2. Miami does what they needed to do, and they go and win a game in Denver. And even on the network, it was suggested that Miami's strategy was to just allow Joker to be a scorer. While he had, I think, 41 points, whatever he had, he only had 4 assists. And that's how you up against a juggernaut and you playing against the best player in the world, because man had 41 points and people celebrating that he only had 4 assists. We know that he's notorious, the Joker, for being a triple-double guy. So that was the category that dissipated a bit and only had 4 assists. It had been suggested on the airways. And then in the post-game interview, a female reporter was asking the same question. Coach Spo sort of abruptly interrupts the question and says something to the effect of, only the untrained eye would say that. You don't turn somebody into a scorer. Like, we're trying to stop him. You just can't. Took a little heat for it. I think it's all about nothing. There were people that suggested that it was misogynistic. I don't think any one of us would say that. And please feel free to disagree if you want, but it's much about nothing. But when he said the untrained eye, it did make me think that's the norm when it comes to most of our sports conversations. The untrained eye is the popular conversation that we're having at the barbershop. The untrained eye is most analysts, studio analysts, that come and talk about a sport that probably they've never played. The untrained eye is the whole debate with some of these former athletes entering into the communication, journalistic, broadcasting industry and going toe-to-toe with someone who never played, who has an untrained eye. The untrained eye is really the norm of our conversation. I'll give you guys quickly a chance to say whether or not you had an issue with him using that phrase, untrained eye, before we get into being the trained eye when it comes to the basketball, because game 3 was a whole different ball of wax for that series. Did you guys have any issue with him saying untrained eye? Did you think anything? I know that he took some heat from feminists and not just feminists, but people who said that it could come across as misogynistic. Either one of you have any issue with it before we move on?
My first impression is, would he have said that to a guy? Yeah. Would he have said that to any other group that could be, marginalized, I'd say yeah, because it's a stupid statement. It's as opposed to saying it's a dumb question. I think he just tactfully said it's untrained to the untrained eye. It looked like we tried to just let him do this. I thought he was being tactful.
That's why you get in trouble for trying to be too nice. He just said that's a dumbass question, and we wouldn't even talk about it. But we wouldn't have the show title either. So I'm glad he said to the untrained eye. ETP, any issues with it?
No, I mean reporters and athletes and coaches go back and forth all the time. Ramona Shelburne is well respected in the industry, both by athletes and both by her peers in the media. So I think that folks are reaching, trying to call this something sexist. There's always contentious back and forth about questions that are being asked. Everybody tore apart when the reporter that asked Giannis what was this season a failure. We talked about it on the show. There was this whole hoopla, oh, how dare that reporter ask this question and all of these things. So I don't think it's a non-story to me. And Ramona Show, it's not like Spoelstra doesn't know who she is. She's a well-respected and highly experienced media personality and knows the industry. So for him to say that, I think it was just more frustration in general. And that's kind of what happens when you're interviewed by the media after games, whether you win or lose. Sometimes people have the temperament for it. A lot of times they don't.
Right. And she didn't have any issue with it. As someone who is well respected in the industry, she didn't have any issue with it at all. It's just funny that everybody else did. Let's hop into the actual basketball, though, because while he teed it up after the game 2 loss, after the game 2 win in Denver, he then followed up with Miami losing in game 3, right? And so my question with all of that is, to the untrained eye, this looked like Miami lost to a better team. But if we look a little deeper, if we look just a little bit deeper, we also see Jamal Murray and the Joker, the first ever duo to have a triple-double in the same game in the NBA Finals.
I think a 30-point triple-double, right? Or no?
30-point triple. No. I think they're the first duo.
First duo in the finals to have a triple-double, but first duo ever to have a 30-point triple-double in any game.
They break multiple. They check off multiple.
They checked off multiple. It looked like a juggernaut. And so I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm sure everybody knows that. It's professed. I'm a big Miami Heat fan. I still think we're going to win the series. Yeah, I said it. And I haven't smoked a damn thing, so I ain't high.
Outside was smoking for you at your house, though. Outside was smoking, so you didn't have to.
I inhaled it. It's that bad air quality.
Yeah,
so I'm still saying it with my chest, but I can't ignore what we saw. In terms of Denver Nuggets, in terms of these two, I'll start with you on this one, ETP. The untrained eye can say what they want to say, but to watch those two do what they did and seem so unstoppable, where do you see this NBA Finals going from here? Game 4 is tonight, but I gotta admit, Game 3 looked a little daunting if you're a Miami Heat fan. What say you, ETP?
So after Game 2, I think things could have gone one or two ways for Denver. One was either it was going to be a wake-up call that they need to get serious because they completely outmatched Miami, as most teams that Miami has beaten over the course of these playoffs have been. They've been outmatched, but Denver definitely didn't play well in Game 2. And so going into Game 3, it was either going to be a wake-up call or it was going to show that there were some cracks in the ice and Miami might be able to pull something off. I think Denver showed that they came back. As long as they can play consistent and play at the level that they play, Miami doesn't win another game. However, the last time I said that, they were down, they were up, or they had just beaten Milwaukee, and I said they're not going to win another game. And now we're in the NBA Finals. So I have no idea what's going to happen. My belief is Miami shouldn't win another game. Denver should steamroll them. They're deeper. They're more talented. They're taller. They're bigger. there's no reason, but Miami's been defying odds, ever since the beginning of the playoffs. But I'm going to say that Denver closes it out in 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami took it to 6 or 7, but I can't see Miami actually winning it. But crazier things have happened.
Big Flow Show, give me more hope than ETP did. Like, he just gave me a lottery ticket chance that we could win it. Is there anything that you saw? You watched these two with that tandem and the pick and roll and the way they run it. And the fact that both of them are unselfish, right? The Joker's not only a big man that's getting rebounds, that's pushing the floor, that can make these circus shots off one toe, and seems to have the most amazing touch around the basket. It doesn't matter that the ball's hitting the rim with him. It's going to find its way. Like, every time it hits the rim, somehow, some way it's going to trickle into the basket. I don't know what this dude's on, or I don't know what he got going on. But you then also have to acknowledge that they're both unselfish. You then also have to acknowledge that this big man is doing all of these things, and the entire sports world was shocked that he was held to 4 assists same night that I think he had 41 points. So we're dealing with a whole new realm of a basketball player. Do you think that Miami can win? Somehow, some way, can Miami win this series, Big Flow Show? Come on now.
I didn't watch a ton of Denver during the year going into the playoffs. I'm more of an NBA fan during the playoffs than I am during the regular season. So I wasn't really sure who they were.
That sounds like a LeBron guy. Sorry.
Unless LeBron's playing, then I'm an NBA fan. But what I saw against the Lakers, not to make this about LeBron, was just an amazing team that just can't stop missing shots or whatever. But they, I don't know what their record was specifically before they played the Lakers, but they didn't look as completely unbeatable as they did then. So I don't know.
They had lost 2 games to Phoenix. So they lost 2 games to Phoenix. Phoenix had the series tied at 2. And, but before that, they did sweep the T-Wolves. Phoenix had the series tied at 2. That's why I thought the Lakers had a chance. But go ahead. I was just giving you that.
No, I appreciate that. And so then I watch him lose the game in Miami, and I start saying, okay, were they just super hot against the Lakers, or are they this good? So I'm still jury's out on whatever, but I'm leaning more towards they're this good, just because the way that they play together and the way that Jamal just have so many shooters. They're like Golden State was when they first really came out, start winning, and except for the Joker's a fatter, slower KD. You know what I mean? It's just a monster team. So I don't think that I thought, maybe gentleman sweep. They figured it out. I cannot count the Heat out and call it a gentleman sweep. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games. I still think Denver will win it, but I feel like the Heat, they got the Rocky Balboa in them. You never know if it's in the script or if they got that much heart or whatever, but I'm seeing 6 or 7 games here.
Now, the Big Flow Show just tried to take a subliminal shot, because on the night of the game, I got to be honest with you, I was mad. I thought the refs were calling it very one-sided.
One questionable call.
There was one questionable call that most fans would acknowledge, but I felt as a Miami Heat fan, there's several questionable
at the
calls.
Best case, cut it to 3 or 4, whatever. Let's set it up. Let's not act like the game was in the balance completely.
And contextually, right? And the show is Untrained Eye. What I was doing is comparing it to game 1, where Miami went to the foul line once. They had a total of 2 free throws in the entire game. That's hard to do in an NBA game. So, and then I was looking at game 3, and so I was losing my feelings. And I was like, this is a script. This is this. The truth of the matter is, beyond my emotions and beyond the untrained eye, in the third quarter, Miami turned the ball over. In the third quarter, Miami took bad shots. In the third quarter, Denver did not turn the ball over and took great shots, and that was the difference in the game. Simple and plain. We'll see game 4. I believe that we will win. Jimmy Buckets, because he took a lot of heat. Jay Williams on the airways, on the worldwide sports leader, ESPN network, basically blame Jimmy for the loss. And while Jay Will, I think, does a great job on the network, I think he has awakened the sleeping giant. I hope Jimmy Buckets is pissed off, and I hope he comes out in game 4 and does what he needs to do. Miami is 7. Miami is 7. I said it. We about to figure it out.
We're gonna start calling you Glass Bart.
Let's go Heat. Let's go Heat. It should be a good game, but the entire city of Miami, all right, we got the NBA Finals, NHL Finals. South Florida is popping. But never in a million years did I think that I would make the next statement that I'm going to make. What's up? I see my man Truthful Jordan. I see Glass. Appreciate you guys. And before we get to what I'm going to say, let me say this in the interim. Like we say every week, humbly, please like, please comment, please share. Tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and our podcast. Won't cost you anything, but you'll be doing a world of favor for us and be doing a world of favor for whoever you tag and whoever you connect, because this good content, the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports, business, entertainment comes out. See?
Even the dog get in on that.
Yeah,
let's go.
I like that. We should
that
should have been a take. Miami, South Florida, being the place, the hotbed and the center of the sports universe. I thought that was true simply because you have the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. But the truth of the matter is, it turned up to a whole nother level this week. I mean, it turned up significantly, exponentially more being the sports universe, and it ain't got nothing to do with basketball, ain't got nothing to do with hockey. Miami is now the sports universe of the world, or center of the world, because of Lionel Messi, because of soccer, because of football, whatever you want to call it. It's a billionaire boy club now, and the money is flowing. Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time, or at least in the conversation of being the greatest player of all time, is set. He is working now. The negotiations are happening as we speak to become an MLS player for Inter Miami. Coming from PSG in the French league to come to the MLS, to be doing to be coming over, and the conversations having some very substantive business components to it, including but not limited to maybe even getting an expansion team as a part of this negotiation. They're giving him everything in the kitchen sink to come over to be in Miami and to then enhance and bolster and significantly increase the international footprint of MLS. This is the moment for MLS. Miami is a hotbed of conversation because of Lionel Messi. Who would have thought that soccer would be the reason I'm talking about? It's a hotbed for sport. Big Flow Show. Not only that, but I wanted to also, because we like working with contracts. So Miami's the hotbed, and it has not been enhanced because of Lionel Messi. But then you have Karim Benzema, who just negotiated his deal with a Saudi team in their Saudi Pro League. But his deal is going to make him over $200 million a year, coming over from Real Madrid, the Spanish league. Why did none of y'all tell me that I should have had soccer as the primary thing in my household? $200 million a year. Big Flow Show, I'm going to start with you on this one because, it's...
I've already informed Northwestern that
my son
won't be back. I already informed Northwestern my son won't be back. We're pulling him out of school and putting him in a full-time soccer trainer. I figure by the time he gets 30, if he can get one season of that type of money, then we're good generationally. So, are we bringing Matt to talk about this, or are we going to go right?
Yeah, I wanted to see what you guys thought about the situation, and we're going to bring on our expert because we are the Untrained Eye. Collectively, we are the Untrained Eye when it comes to soccer, but we have an opinion too. When you hear $200 million, you know what $200 million is.
The best is he got 2 years, like 436 million. So that means at some point during negotiations, someone said, "All right, we'll give you $200 million." He was like, "I can't play for that, man. I can't do that. I mean, what am I going to do with $200 million? We got to get higher than that." Like I just start thinking about when you start turning those numbers down, do you really start thinking what you're doing is saving lives? So, again, I can't hate on anybody making their bread. This bringing Messi to the States, I'm very interested in see what's going to be. Kind of reading his quotes around it and saying like the reason why he wanted to come to the States is that really it sounds like he wanted to chill. Like I want to come to the MLS to chill. If I wasn't going to go back to play for Barcelona, I just wanted to chill. So I'm going to go to the US. So I kind of hope that the MLS feels like that's somewhat, I mean, granted, he's the greatest player ever, but somewhat like it's got to feel a slap in the face. But then on the other side, I kind of feel like when he comes here, if he doesn't score 3 or 4 goals a game, I mean, could you imagine LeBron James going to play in the G League? Which I would say would you say that that's probably a good comparison, the MLS to the European soccer leagues is the G League?
Without the connection, but yeah, in terms of quality, varsity versus junior varsity,
okay,
absolutely.
Since we on the Joker, could you imagine the Joker in the G League right now? He should average 50, right?
Right. Or like Dwight Howard going to play over in China. Yep, that's I get where you're
I'm
going.
feeling like, okay, if Messi doesn't score 3 to 4 goals a game, I feel like he's a
flop.
But yeah, he's a bust.
ETP. I know that you, in terms of the branding, in terms of the league itself, because we've seen it grow from nothing. We watched the MLS. Literally, it's like we watched the baby be born, and now they're in adolescence. We watched it. And then for you, with some of the stuff that you've done on the branding side, did you ever think that we would be discussing the likes of a Lionel Messi coming to play for an MLS team?
I mean, it's not unprecedented. I think what's unprecedented about this is that he's just fresh off of a World Cup championship, right?
Yeah. No, you say it's not unprecedented. You talking about
it's not unprecedented that you have global elite players, but MLS for years they were kind of the retirement home of elite players, right? So the irony of all this is David Beckham was the big splash, went to play for the LA Galaxy at the twilight of his career, wasn't really, was no longer the player that he had been historically. And it was a big deal that he was coming over to play for the LA Galaxy.
Right.
Part of that, the irony of all that is, and there were other players that came in, and when you watch them play, I think there was one that played for the Montreal team, DJ Drogba, and it looked like a pro athlete playing against grade school kids. It was
that
crazy.
How it turned out?
But so the way that this all happened was in Beckham's contract, he had the clause that gave him the right to purchase an expansion team for MLS for $25 million. That expansion team ended up being Inter Miami Football Club. And at that point, he then is now bringing over Leo Messi to essentially expand the MLS to a level that it may never see. And because Messi is not completely at the twilight of his career, obviously he's older, but he can still perform, as we've seen, at the most elite level. This rivals probably, I mean, the Inter Miami Instagram account gained 4 million followers in 24 hours when they had 1 million to begin with. So this is huge for football or in the US soccer, just based on the impact that it's going to have. And we don't even know how much he's going to get paid, because it's not even just a salary deal. It's profit sharing, revenue sharing with Adidas merchandise,
organ sharing. That man got a few kidneys promised to him if he ever has kidney damage. The negotiations right now he's doing this is we don't even call it negotiation. But you brought up the fact that there's been an instant spike in the Instagram followers, and I wanted to bring on, as Big Flo Show mentioned, our research team. We have an intern who's doing this thing, and he helps us with research. So, and this is his forte. So we're gonna bring him on for a split second, because for us, and ETP, you probably better than Flo and I, but Flo and I, we're the Neanderthals. We don't know nothing about no soccer. We are the untrained
Brown still plays soccer barefoot.
Yeah.
Like Neanderthal, like that.
Straight Neanderthal,
Hairy
baby.
toes.
I am the untrained eye. So let's bring on Matt Malaspino, our intern, our research team, to help us out with this as we round out this soccer conversation. With no further ado, what's up, Matt?
How we doing?
Yeah, good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited about this. This is really exciting news. I mean, I don't think people in America fully realize how big of a deal this is. I'm gonna break it down for you then, because I want you, not just people in America. I'm the untrained eye, so we're gonna go a little Q&A, and you just give me the details that would help a Neanderthal like me understand this. So you're saying that we don't fully understand. We as Americans don't fully understand. I will acknowledge that. As someone who does not fully understand the magnitude of this, help me become more powerful. So when I go in the barber shop, when I get back, I'm going to go tell a whole barbershop full of brothers that only want to talk about NBA. They only want to talk about NFL. We'll talk about some Summer Olympics and some Sha'Carri Richardson, but we ain't really talking about no soccer. Help me take some information to go in that barbershop when I get back and get them to understand the magnitude of this stateside. I mean, at the end of the day, soccer is the biggest sport in the world. It will always be the biggest sport in the world, and I don't really see any sport really getting to the level that soccer is. And Lionel Messi is the biggest name in sports. It's not LeBron James. In fact, LeBron James is probably third. It goes Lionel Messi, then Cristiano Ronaldo, and then it goes LeBron James.
You about to make Big Flo pass out. Big Flo, hold up. Big Flo, hold up. Let me make sure he got some medics. I got 911. I'm going to hit the last one. You're going to make him – give me that ranking again. Say what you just said.
I mean, in terms of global brand recognition, it goes – in terms of global brand recognition, it goes Lionel Messi number 1, Cristiano Ronaldo number 2, and then at number 3 it goes to LeBron James.
All right.
You can argue. You can even
bit.
I can't argue that because some guy that I never heard of until this week just got paid $436 million over 2 years. So I would be a fool to argue. Money talks.
I mean,
they're not paying him that way just because.
When we really like. You look at the we were talking about the Instagram accounts. You look at the Instagram account in less than 24 hours. They went from 1 million followers to 5 million followers. PSG, the team that Messi played for before, lost 2 million followers when it was announced that he was not coming back to PSG.
Wow.
This is the biggest. You talk about like money. LeBron James does not make as much money as Lionel Messi if I recall correctly. And I mean, Messi,
money wise, he got it.
Lionel Messi turned down a 1.2 or 1.6 billion, 1.6 million for 3-year contract from the Saudis to join the MLS because it's not just.
Flo, what's the math on that? 1.6 billion divided by 3.
You got a whole bunch carry the 6, or you just. I don't know.
It's a lot, and it's 800 million, and
800 million a year.
So 800 million. That's four NFL teams.
It's hot over there.
NFL teams.
So what are we missing about soccer then? Because if they're paying them that much, and if you're saying it's the most popular sport in the world, what am I missing? Because any contest that only has less than 8 shots on goal, or it's going to end in a 0-0 tie. Baseball, MLB had a challenge. They had to speed the game up to get more fans. Tell me what I'm missing before I let you go. Tell me what I'm missing about the sport that has made it such an international draw. What am I missing about the sport that has made it worth paying somebody close to $250 million a year? What am I missing about the sport to allow this man to turn down a 3-year, billion with a B? What am I missing about the sport?
There's a lot of factors. I think the biggest factor, and this is why I think the only sport that's truly going to be able to get closer to the level that soccer is on right now is basketball. And the reason why is because of accessibility. At the end of the day, you can play soccer anywhere. And it's a sport that is played around the world, and you can play it literally anywhere doing anything. You don't even need a soccer ball. You could just have like a little ball, and you have like a little wall, and you could play it there. You could do it on anything. Soccer is the most accessible sport in the world to play. And at the end of the day, people will always play soccer because of how easy it is to play. You don't need a court. You don't need anything. You don't need money to really play soccer. You need something that can fit as a ball, and then you don't even need a field, just like a surface. That's
the draw. And this is what I'll say before I let you go, Matt, because we know that you are our student embarked on your summer, and you are using this internship to help with some of your studies. Over the course of your time here, I want you to be able to convert us untrained eyes, us Neanderthals, and understanding the sport a little bit better. If that's your mission, if you shall accept it, does that work?
I'm down. I love soccer. I used to not be a person that loved soccer. I used to firmly hate it. Basketball is still my number one sport, but I don't know. When the 2014 World Cup happened, there was just something that just got me, and I've just been a huge fan ever since. And I mean, it may be boring, and I understand why some people can find the sport boring.
But they say that. You say it may be boring. For some people, that's full stop. It may be boring. I'm done.
Especially for Americans that are used to extremely high-paced sports like basketball, where there's constantly action going on. I can understand why it might be boring to some people, but once not most people. It's the biggest sport it's the biggest sport in the world. Yeah. I mean,
most people in the U.S.
Yes, most people in the U.S.
Some soap operas have been running for 40, 50 years.
But
what are you going to do?
But I mean, there's something special about soccer. And I mean, if you truly get into it and you truly start to realize.
I think the special thing about soccer is what you said, that it's not special. Anybody can play it. Anyone can do it. Everyone can understand it. Anybody can realize when the ball goes in the net, it's a goal. The nuances are so not big of a deal that people can watch and do whatever. I just have this problem, and I'm gonna go on my little rant, is if you watch a basketball game right now in the playoffs, you don't have to be smart to realize the Joker is the best guy. Joker and Jimmy Butler are the two best guys on the court. If you watch 4 or 5 games, you're gonna see it. It's gonna jump off the court that those two in this series are the best. You watch a football game, it's not hard to realize who the best people are. Soccer, I don't care how good it is. There's a really good chance the game is going to end 0-0 or 1-0. And that's what's hard. Yeah. You pay somebody all that money and they don't score 5 goals a game. I don't understand it. Could you imagine if we won a whole basketball game and the Joker got all that bread to score 1 bucket?
It's extremely
painful that would be. Catch 1 bucket the whole time and we go nuts. He pulls his shirt off, runs around because he got one basket.
It's extremely tactical. It's extremely tactical, and it's hard. It's very hard to score because of how many players are playing and how big the field is, and a bunch of other factors. But I mean,
too many people out there.
Your assignment, Matt, if you should accept this mission, is to take these 3 untrained eyes when it comes to that sport that you have now tried to convince me is worth watching. By the end of your internship, it will bring you on again to discuss some soccer. Make sure that you have us at least willing to turn the TV on. All right.
I'm going to. I'll let the numbers speak for themselves at the end of the day. And I'll let the numbers speak for themselves. And something that we're not really talking about with this Messi signing is the fact that in 2026 the World Cup's coming to America. Soccer is
all right. You got my ear now. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for me?
Is one of the fastest growing sports in America, and especially if you look at the United States national team in terms of their soccer, you look at how a lot of the talent in the United States is starting to really develop, and players are starting to go to soccer a lot more. I think it's definitely not a top 5. It's not a top 5 sport in the U.S. right? Actually, no, it is a top 5 sport in the U.S., but it's 5. But I think I'm fairly confident when I say that give it a few years, give it about a decade, soccer will be one of the biggest sports. Will be in top 3.
You don't have a decade, Matt. We're gonna bring you back, and before your internship ends, ain't giving you 10 years. We're gonna give you a few weeks to convince us, man. But we appreciate your input. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you helping the Untrained Eye, myself included, when it comes to soccer, to help us understand these numbers. And you're doing a great job, man. Appreciate you helping us out as an intern.
Appreciate you having me on.
That is our guy, Matt, the research team. And we are going to challenge him because there is something that we're missing. If the entire world is watching it, if you have billionaire businessmen who aren't just throwing money, they're just not throwing bad. They don't become a billionaire for just throwing bad money in the sky, hoping it drops and falls in someone's hands. They're paying people that they know can drive and generate revenue.
But let me put this into context. And I do think that this is a really interesting opportunity now for soccer to become much more popular in the US because of streaming and all of the different revenue models around technology. Because I'll tell you right now, soccer has not been popular in the United States for the past however many years, because when are you going to show commercials? There's no stoppage. There's the start, there's halftime, and then there's the post game. So football, you get, I don't know what, 20, 30 commercial breaks throughout the game.
In a series, yeah.
NBA, like all of these sports in the United States is strictly a vehicle for advertising. And soccer up until now never really had the format to insert a lot of the advertising other than on-field screens or on, the banners, logos and banners and things of that nature. But now with the multimedia elements of it, now they can have, interstitials and all of this stuff. And then there's also the streaming platforms. Obviously, they have a deal with Apple TV. So that's a subscription model. So now you're subscribing and they're getting subscription revenue and they're not as reliant on the advertising. So it could be a kind of a culmination of all of these elements. You got Messi coming over here. You've got Apple TV that's investing in a different way from a media platform. And then in 2 years, you have, the World Cup that'll be here all over the United States. So this could be a little bit of a tipping point for the U.S. to kind of join the rest of the world in terms of making, soccer a premier sport.
Well, that's a good thing you say, Edo. How are they coming up with all this revenue without commercials? I mean, what are they doing in these other countries? I mean, I know the stadiums are bigger.
It's media rights. I mean, there's
still even crazier. They don't even sell booze. Like I went to a game in Spain, and they didn't sell, because the fans are so rabid. They didn't sell alcohol in the stadium.
Yeah. It's media. I mean, it's big of it. A big part of it is media rights. A lot of these media conglomerates are paying for the rights to distribute it globally, right? And so having the rights to that, you can still have your sports highlight shows and all of these other things that are driving advertising. And if you're the exclusive distributor in Africa or in the Middle East or what have you of these games, then you corner the market in terms of a broadcast property. So they are doing it a bit differently, where, in the United States, it kind of has a slightly different model.
You think they just sell like the halftime commercials for way more money, and they sell the sponsorships on the field for like ungodly numbers that we probably wouldn't pay? I mean, somebody has to pay the money, right? It's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, but you're talking about, so you're using a different model that we use here to think about the sport. There's a status quo to being able to pay these top players that billionaires are owning. I would compare it more to F1 than I would to any of our sports. But that's Matt's assignment, to get these untrained eyes to understand the business and get us a little more tuned into soccer. So hopefully Matt will take that assignment. Going from one sport that I would say is more on the boring side to another one that I enjoy, but I'm terrible at. This week, an Untrained Eye would tell you that the PGA was the biggest hypocrite in all of sports. The Ball Hog Sports Talks, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. Well, that same collision happened in golf this week. Sports, business, and entertainment collided. But you got to think of all of the PGA golfers on that tour who decided not to take money from LIV, and they then find out, some of them maybe 2 hours before it happened, that their employer, the PGA Tour, is now going to merge with Live. And to the untrained eye, even the PGA Tour commissioner, Jay Monahan, said he acknowledged that he would be called a hypocrite and said he accepts criticism. To the untrained eye, what else can you be called other than a hypocrite? What else can you expect other than criticism? We had, not to mention all the geopolitical ramifications with some of the questionable dollars that have funded Live and the questionable atrocities that have been allowed connected with that money. That part aside, what else do you, it just seems hypocritical. So help me get around the what seems to be the elephant in the room, that he is a hypocrite. What seems to be the elephant in the room, that not everyone is committed to making sure blood money isn't being exchanged, right? There's a whole thing going on with this that it's baffling me. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it seems as though the PGA golfers are having just as many questions about this merger. I'll start with you on this one, ETP. Is this much ado about nothing? And look, we talked about the Saudi money when it came to the soccer conversation or football conversation. Same thing here. It's this money that, you know, that we're talking about, natural resource monies that have now been, some would say, you know, I'm trying to dance lightly because the last time we did anything,
laundered.
That's a good word.
To put it lightly.
ETP, what are we doing here, man? And then celebrated on all of the networks like this. I'm like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think the celebration is for the fans, right? Ultimately, a lot of this has been hypocrisy. You know, the criticism of Live Golf as this evil empire, blood money backed organization versus the clean, pristine leagues around the world that have no association with any ill operations or, you know, nefarious activity. At the end of the day, it's all money, right? This is all being driven by money. So the idea that people were so up in arms about, you know, what Live was because it was Saudi backed. Most things have have that money involved in the operations along with other money. So that part of it is hilarious. And then
so the first part, not to interrupt, but interrupt. So the first part where it was being sold to me, the untrained eye, that was the reason why PGA and other above the board golf entities didn't want to be associated with Live. I was silly to fall for it then. I was being lied then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know that you were being lied to, but it's, you know, you can always point fingers and criticize others if nobody gets to come in your house and see how messy it is. So ultimately, you know, I'm not sure if you were being lied to. I think you were being given specific information that was, you know, advantageous to somebody else's cause. But in terms of, you know, if you dig beyond the sport that you're watching, it's very possible you're gonna, you know, unearth some things that, you know, may feel or look or be unethical, maybe taking money from brands and corporations and others that are doing certain things. Look, at the end of the day, nobody talks about, you know, Nike was in a huge scandal decades ago about, you know, child labor and, you know, labor regulations and all of that in Asia.
Right.
One of the biggest sponsors in sports. What they're doing now,
but that's different.
They could have cleaned up, but that's different, right? So, and I'm just using that as an example that comes to the top of my
mind. Great example.
So ultimately, you know, we make a big deal about things that don't fit within the narrative of what we want. But I do think ultimately the celebration and the kumbaya moment is, okay, they're not trying to fragment the golf, you know, the golf fan experience. They're also bringing all the stars back together. They're making it, you know, more consolidated. So as a fan, you can support it in a way that doesn't make it more challenging. But I think the idea is you could be a fan and you can watch both. I think it was more the tension between the two. And now ultimately everybody's just gonna, act like it never happened. And now the PGA has even more money because they settled whatever the settlement was. There's no question. Nobody's saying, well, the PGA now is blood money. It's like everybody wins, right? So
yeah, Big Flow Show, I'll give you last word on it, man. Because here I am in this space and I'm admitted that I will admit I'm a horrible golfer. 4 hours to go out there and let that little ball kick my ass. I fell in love with it for a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm a horrible golfer. I'll admit that I will find anything else to watch, including a Law and Order marathon. If the only thing on TV to watch is golf, I'm going to find something else to watch. I would watch NASCAR before golf. So I admit that I'm the untrained eye, but make me feel more comfortable with what seems to be a real conflict from a business standpoint, that this mission statement has been sold to me what the PGA was. Our conviction as a country and not being associated with certain revenue streams and how that money was made, it was sold to me. Make me feel comfortable that there's something a little more strategic from a business standpoint in this, and I wasn't just sold a bill of bad goods. You get last word on it, Big Flow.
I can't do that. And
You can't do that.
Try because I don't believe it. So never trust the house. At the end of the day, the PGA, everyone starts beating their chest. Oh, Saudi money is doing whatever. Just that almost lets you know when in this country, when you see someone's beating their chest about how bad something would be to do it, it should almost make you run to do it, right? Because there's just a fear that they're like, oh my gosh, they have all this money, and they're gonna realize the PGA purses went up when they started going through it, and they're like, PGA purses are going to have to raise because they're worried about this threat. Okay, finally, let's take the money. So you can't trust the house. So anyone who's working for a company right now, I mean, look at your employer. They use words like loyalty and all different things like that. But that's just something they're doing to try to pressure you into doing something that is not in your best interest. So thank God now the money's coming over. Hopefully people get paid. My biggest takeaway from this whole situation is, what do we have to do to get the Saudis to like American football? Because my son's got 4 years of eligibility left. If we could kick a league off and he could be the inaugural $500 million wide receiver out there, I think we could talk something out, man. So I don't know. Anybody, any prince, if you guys know any princes or anything like that, have them call me. I can walk them through how we can get this thing done. Man. We can have a stadium built in no time at all. And we just start getting games going over there. I mean, what else they want to see?
You might be on to something. I know the Fresh Prince. That's about the only Prince I know.
I'm interested.
Let's hop into this NIL.
Smack you for free.
Smack you for free.
We counting down. We're gonna go through this final stretch with a few quick topics, man. So let's start off with NIL, because NIL seems as though there is a collective bargaining going on. And you might think, what collective bargaining? They haven't unionized. What do you mean? But there is this individualized collective bargaining going on. What I mean by that is all of these, especially college football, but even some college basketball players are sort of drawing the line in the sand. They're threatening not going out on the field because of something that they didn't find to be advantageous for them within their own NIL deal. Whether it be a payout, whether it be a stipulation, whether it be a recommendation. So you got this threat that the players aren't going to go out there. In addition, you have now EA Sports. It's in the game. They're coming back with college football. And several of the college football players have said that they're not going to allow the EA Sports organization to have rights to their name, image, and likeness. And so this is lightning round now. So just give me your quick response to where are we? We started off in the Wild Wild West when it came to name, image, and likeness. Now we've got this collective, but it's not collective, bargaining going on where the players are showing how much power they have, threatening not to go out there on the field or not to go on the court based on something that has nothing to do with said university. Where are we with this Wild Wild West? Quick version. What you say, Big Flow Show?
You're going to get a couple things, but the one thing that's still going to hold people hostage is if you hold out. I mean, the ultimate bag. I don't care what you're getting in for college football, especially, is if they don't play, then they're not going to get to the NFL. So I think there's going to be a couple cases of some really misguided youth that are going to say, I don't want to play and do something stupid. But then they're going to do that. Or people are going to put contract clauses in their NIL agreement saying that you have to play if you're healthy. We're going to get one or two. I don't think it's going to become a problem because at the end of the day, you have a limited time to use your eligibility to try to get to the ultimate prize, which is the NFL. So now, as far as the game, the sports game,
EA Sports,
the EA Sports game, I think some people are going to try to opt out, and they've already said that they're just going to put a generic figure in your place. At this stage, these kids are still fans of video games. I don't see a lot of kids passing up the opportunity to be immortalized in a video game and have an opportunity to do it over some money. But that's just my thoughts.
ETP, you're advising somebody. Someone hires you as their brand consultant, their NIL expert. And you hear these things. The kid comes to you is like, man, if you know, whatever, right? They're threatening not to go out there and play. Now, if you were advising them, their deal would not have had something cloudy in it. So I acknowledge that I'm putting you in a bad spot to advise this person. But at the same time, when you hear these things, you hear a young man come to you and say, hey, I think the EA franchise needs to pay me more for my name, image, and likeness. What are you thinking in terms of where we are, name, image, and likeness with the current state of affairs? Has the Wild Wild West gotten better, gotten worse? Are we at the same spot? What say you?
So what the EA Sports deal exposes is, ironically, I guess Northwestern started to try to create a union many years ago around college athletes, and because it's such a short-lived experience and there's so much fragmentation, it never came to fruition. So when you have a situation where a brand or a company is trying to do a blanket deal with all of the participants in the athletic spectrum or in the whole football network, it exposes that there is no concerted or unified front. And so from my perspective, this is an opportunity for the Caleb Williamses or the high profile athletes. I don't think it's advantageous for them to not participate in the EA Sports deal, even though they're only getting $500. But what I do think it is an opportunity is to have a creative conversation with EA Sports and any other organizations or companies that they have relationships with and say, how can we maximize the marketing value of my participation in this game? And are there other streams of revenue that I can generate, whether it's doing gaming tournaments and I do appearances and you pay me, or I have some level of integration with my deal with Adidas or Beats by Dre or whatever it is that incorporates into the EA Sports platform. What are ways that we can do this that I can maximize my value? Because I'm not going to take myself. It's taking yourself out of an EA Sports game is similar on a very low level to taking yourself off the field, right? Where if your presence is there, kids and people that are playing the game are going to be able to play with your likeness, and they become more, have more of an affinity to you, where like Michael Jordan wasn't in video games for the duration of his career because he didn't, he wasn't aligned with the union. I do think that didn't affect him because he was such a global brand above and beyond anything of the NBA at the time.
Right.
College athletes don't have that luxury. They need the marketing, they need the promotion, they need the awareness. And so to not participate in that, it's not about yes or no. It's how do I maximize this opportunity?
Right.
And because I have the opportunity to gain brand deals with other corporations, what's a way that I can find some synergy to leverage this underpaying but highly marketable inclusion so that I can derive revenue in other ways?
Right. It's interesting because you say that Michael Jordan had this global brand such that the exclusion of him in these video games never really hurt that brand. But there was like this whole group of college players. Baker Mayfield comes to mind. Johnny Manziel comes to mind. Tim Tebow comes to mind that missed out on those opportunities. So the timing of this is interesting because I don't know if we have that right now in any of the college sports. We don't have that globally recognized figure. But we shall see. Two players played on the same AAU team. Two players that I think could have really cashed in on name, image, and likeness had it been in existence while they were playing the collegiate level. Two players that are NBA guys in the news for all the wrong reasons this week. And again, played on the same AAU team. We'll start with the first guy, Jah Morant. And this episode of Untrained Eye, we have been told by the Jah Morant camp that we all had an untrained eye, that gun in that video was fake. We'll start with Jah Morant. Are you buying it that it was a fake video? Do you like the sell at this hour? I see you clapping, so you go for a Big Flow show. Lightning round version.
Hey, listen, he's looking at a potential 1-year suspension.
I've heard 30 games. Now it's up to maybe 1 year.
It's all rumor mills. They said they weren't going to put it out there till the end of the playoffs,
right?
Not so as not to distract from their own brand. But I got to take my hat off to him. I mean, prove it wasn't fake. As I say, he should drop a single,
Shaggy,
come out with something, and say he was shooting a video. He hasn't given any interview on it, from what I understand. I haven't seen anything that was substantial. It was a fake gun. You can't prove it. We were doing a video, and somebody dropped it. Prove that it wasn't. That's all I say. Prove that it wasn't. You got to try.
You like it, Shaggy? It wasn't me. It wasn't real. Shaggy straight up deny. ETP? Because there's that part of it. The immediate repercussions with the NBA, the immediate repercussions with the court of public opinion. But the truth of the matter is that there's so many more business implications to this. When he released his shoe, Nike finally got smart enough, like, we didn't manufacture all these damn shoes. This shoe getting released. Sold out immediately. I wonder if it becomes so laughable that you become such a mockery that then other business opportunities are taken away from you. ETP, maybe I'm the old man in the room thinking of it that way. Make me feel different, or just give me your take on Jah Morant saying it was a fake gun, or his camp saying it was a fake gun.
So it's both too late and too stupid of a statement, in my opinion. One, he came out immediately after that video came out and apologized for the second time about how he needs to do better. And I know people won't believe this, but I'm going to do better. So
maybe that was better. It was a fake gun. In his mind, that was better.
That's the name of the single.
Right. But he apologized for it before any news came out. Now they're saying it's fake. If it's fake, I don't know if that's any better. It actually might be worse, because you're basically making a mockery of what you got caught up in the first time, and basically saying now you're just being juvenile, right? Like you're waving around a fake gun. So it goes from one to be like, okay, this man is doing some things that's really going to compromise, and maybe he's got something that he's got to work out, and that's what everybody's saying. It's a mental health thing, all the things that they're saying. To now it's swinging all the way the other way and saying, oh, it's fake. Oh, it's like, okay, so now you're mocking the whole situation and making fun of it, which just loses all sympathy from people that are saying, oh, well, you need some help, and all the things that people were, playing armchair psychologist about. Now it's, oh, really? So you think this is a game? You think this is a joke?
Right. You're making fun. You laughing at me while I'm not laughing.
Right.
Right.
So ultimately, whether it's real or fake, I think even floating the idea that it's fake makes this even worse. Like, I don't think that it makes it any better of a idea. Like, yeah, it might not get him, like, it prevents any criminal investigation, but it doesn't make him lose any less money.
Yeah, for this one, man, and I love Jah Morant. So let me go out on a limb and say this, that I wish that my prayer for Jah Morant, and not to make it super spiritual, but this is true. I'm gonna make a true statement. My prayer for Jah Morant is that somehow, some way, he finds people that are around him that can give him some real sound advice. It has nothing to do with Jah Morant as the basketball player, but Jah Morant as a human being, because the mistakes that he's making as a human being, it's tough for me to reconcile that. To be, and I know we got comments, people saying he's throwing away the whole bag to be young and so talented and all that. To me, that's like, as a man, you really need to sit down and assess where you are as a man to be in that situation where you got so much given to you and you're just throwing it away. So I hope that there's someone that is in his life that maybe just hasn't spoken up yet, or maybe he just hasn't listened yet. But my prayer is that conversation really pierces his heart and he hears what they're saying, because it's just, we can laugh about it. Ah, man, he said it is a fake gun, but there's a deal that won't get done because they're reading the story and some business is saying, I don't want to be associated with this idiot. And you don't know the deal that's not going to get done. You don't know the conversation that's happening behind a closed door about Jah Morant outside the company and outside the earshot of Jah Morant. You don't know the deal that's not going to get done because of it. But you better believe that someone somewhere, a decision maker, is looking at this saying, this dude's a damn idiot, and I don't want to be associated with him. So it is what it is. Now, on the other side of that, the duo in the AAU circuit, the other side of a guy who could have really cashed in on NIL but didn't. So even more important to take advantage of these opportunities to make money and not throw it away is a guy by the name of Zion Williams. Zion Williams posts a picture of he and his girlfriend, or he and his soon-to-be mother of his child, and it is then sort of revealed that woman at one point was an adult entertainer. She was a dancer. While that post and all of the backlash when her identity or I'm assuming former or previous employment, I hope she's not doing it while she's pregnant, but at some point she was a dancer. That's what she did for work. All of that backlash is coming, and then another young lady says, hold my beer, and basically puts him out there in Front Street and says, hey, man, well, it would have been nice to know that you got this lady pregnant because you're trying to move me to New Orleans, and said some other vulgar things about their sexual proclivities. And then and that woman is then revealed to be a porn star, another adult entertainer. Now, the only issue I got with that is the only person that ain't an adult entertainer, the one that I want to be an adult entertainer, ain't playing no damn games. He's the one that I want to go out there as an adult and entertain us with his amazing basketball prowess, but he ain't playing no games. And now he's wrapped in this situation into the untrained eye, because I'm not in your business. I'm not in your bedroom. I'm not in your conversations where I can have a real back and forth, some dialogue about what really went down. But to the untrained eye, it looks like he's a simp that just, I don't know how else to say it. But Zion Williams being in the news for all the wrong reasons, in the same week that Jah Morant is in the news for all the wrong reasons, is just disappointing. So they are connected because they're AAU days. Again, lightning round, 30-second version, ETP. I want to put my arm around Jah Morant and have a conversation. And then now this week, it looks like I would just as well want to put my arm around freaking Zion Williams and have a conversation, right? If that's your homeboy, we all got sons. That's our son, and these are the type of decisions that they're making. What do you say?
I'm gonna keep it shorter than 30 seconds. 3 letters that Zion Williamson should speak to his attorney about: NDA, non-disclosure. I don't know what's going on in his life. I hope he gets it all figured out. I hope it doesn't become an issue. But the idea that he can be dealing with these people and they're putting all his business out there, and it's probably going to cost him money and headaches and all of the other things.
Well, the pregnancy is going to cost him money. I hope not headaches. I hope it's blessings, but that absolutely going to cost money.
Yeah, the pregnancy, look, I don't know if he's happy for it. I don't know if it was intentional or accidental. I don't know anything about it. So
right?
What?
He did post it.
Yeah, he posted it. He had a gender reveal party, all of that. Yeah, so I can't speculate on anything. I don't challenge that costing him money. That's what happens when you have kids. They cost money. So it is what it is. But the issue about the reason why this is a bigger story is because he's got, women that he's been involved with disparaging and divulging information that you would hope nobody would ever divulge about somebody in terms of their personal business.
Yeah. Big Flow Show. What say you, man? You know,
I mean,
and I don't want to
first I
say
wanna
your
know-
son is the one in this situation because I don't even want to make that
Don't do that.
hypothetical. But
Yeah,
that's your
don't do
homeboy, and he asked you like, "Yo, what you think about this, man?" And these two things come out in the same week, and it's your man's 50 grand. What do you say? Because to the untrained eye, it don't look good.
Who
It
is
don't
the
look
AAU
good.
coach? That's what I need to know. Who is the AAU coach? Right?
What
They're
kind,
not supposed to
what
be.
kind of stuff they was
What
doing?
kind
in
of
practice?
where did you guys have your tournaments at? What type of stuff was going on over there?
I bet them hotel tables was
Man,
popping,
this
baby.
guy kind of crook over there. So I don't know. My son can't play for him. That's all I can say. My son can't play for him. I don't know what else. But I just say, I mean, much to make about nothing. I mean, there's a lot of child out of wedlock. He had a reveal party, so I'm going to assume just because she's a stripper, I can't tell you that you can't have a kid.
An adult dancer, man. Don't degrade the
Strippers
profession.
need love too.
No,
So
you can't call it that. No,
I
more.
guarantee she don't
Politically
strip
correct.
no more. So he saved her, right? Now the second one that
Save
came
her.
out.
Now that even that verb, but that's what we doing. Don't save.
Is our kids
You
out?
saying he's a captain? Is he the
What's
captain
Yeah,
of
going
the
on,
team?
man?
oh, captain, my captain. That's what we
You
say.
said it's all right, but as you describing it, it's not sounding
It's
all
not
right.
coming out
That's all I'm
good.
saying.
It's the secondary one that she probably could have got some sort of a bag to stay quiet. She went public too quick. She needs a publicist too. Whoever came out second, because now the bag cat's out the bag. So at the end of the day, it's much to be made about nothing. It's his private life. There's a lot of people out there who have children and have another girlfriend on the side, especially when you are, can dunk from the free throw line through your leg and all this stuff. It tends to come with extra benefits. And unfortunately, his choice of women, he needs to choose women that talk less. So it is what it is.
Well, look, man, I hope it all works out, honestly. But I don't know, man. I hate to see young brothers, just like I say with Jah Morant, to unnecessarily provide these chat like that. That's something I mean, I don't know New Orleans that well, but I know it well enough to know that they sell condoms. I don't know, birth control. There's just so many different. I don't. Well, I wish him nothing but the best. If he's happy, I want him to be even happier. And look, you talk about strippers need love too. So do porn stars. If that's who you want to date and have, because according to her, he was gonna move her to New Orleans too. Like, well, we were both gonna move to New Orleans.
Yeah, she might have just.
It was messy.
Just kept
It was
quiet
just messy.
and just moved. She might have been straight.
It was messy. And so my thing to
is it kind of ironic though that a porn star feels like dejected and cheated on? Like, you have sex.
Well, the craziest thing she said was putting my life in danger by having sex with all these people. Like, that's the most ironic thing that a porn star can say.
But you know what, man? People can say whatever. It's a freedom of speech is a great thing in this country.
But the truth of the matter is they the porn industry does take steps and does testing and all the things. So I don't know. It just seems messy.
She should say you messing with my livelihood is what she should.
Yeah, you messing with my livelihood. We'll leave it there. But to the untrained eye, it doesn't look good. My man, come on, get it together, Zion Williamson. We want to see you on the court. We want to see you taking advantage of the opportunity that you have on the court. So hopefully that it all works out. Now, let's go home with these, man, because we've got the Ball Hawk Spotlight moment. I'm going to throw it over to you first. ETP, I think we're at now. Yes, I'll start with you first on ETP. Ball Hawk Spotlight moment. You know what it is, man. It's your time to have the ball. All eyes on you. What do you have from the world of sports, business, and entertainment? Give us a little something out your bag. What you got?
So last night, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers and Miami Heat, both in the finals for their respective sports. Florida Panthers were down 2-0, in jeopardy of going down 3-0, and were able to pull off a win in overtime at the last ditch effort to maintain their life, so to speak, in the NHL Stanley Cup. So the series is now 2-1. with two teams where no time of year could you freeze an ice cube outside of a refrigerator, but they're both in the Stanley Cup final.
Facts. Shout out. Let's go. Let's go, Panthers. Way to not give up, baby.
So hopefully one Florida team won't go away empty-handed, but it's possible that two are gonna go away empty-handed.
Hey, everyone expected both to get swept. Both of them decided not to get swept at least. But my goodness,
wow!
Big Flow Show. Ball gets passed in your court. Ball Hawk sports talk moment. What you got for us this week? Give us
after 52 seasons in the NBA. CP3 was released by the Phoenix Suns.
52
seasons and 17 pulled hamstrings. Later, they had released him. So the question I have is this the end of CP3? I believe he'll be resurrected. There has been rumors of him going to the Lakers, which I think would be kind of funny because, back Kobe was playing, they tried to make a trade, and that was such an unfair advantage. Think about the sign of the times. That was considered such an unfair advantage that the commissioner blocked the trade. And now that's the norm is to do it. So hats off for CP3 for hanging in there for another 29 years after that trade was supposed to happen and being around in the headlines. But I guess I have the question. Do you guys think he's done, or do you think we haven't seen the last of CP3?
He'll play next year, but I just hate to see the Goliaths like this in our basketball because he's on the Mount Rushmore of point guards, right? Mm-hmm. Got to put him on the Mount Rushmore of point guards.
That's a tough one, but I won't derail it.
All right, so let's say he's not the Mount Rushmore. Let's say he's the mountain next to him.
He's one of the greatest point guards.
One of the greatest point guards ever. I just hate to see the careers end like this. And CP3 has been on a bad hamstring for a long time. I think he'll play next year. Ultimately, he could end up back in Phoenix. That has also been rumored. So we shall see, man. If he comes to, and I'm imagining each one of us would say this. I would still like CP3 to come to my team because he is a facilitator, and he's definitely better than Kyle Lowry, if as a Heat fan. But it's just tough to watch the greats in their career like this. I'll say it that way. And shout out to him. I hope his career ends on a high note. Yeah. My ball hawk spotlight moment. The ball's passed to me, so I'm gonna go. My baggy little something from Sports Business Entertainment is the Oklahoma University softball team. Shout out to the Sooners. Shout out to the Sooners because they won the national championship. But in doing so, they on a 53-game winning streak. But also in doing so, they were questioned about their celebration. And so for me, Mr. Excessive Celebration, I salute those women of the Oklahoma Sooners softball team. To hell with people that say you can't celebrate in softball. To hell with the people that say that you are a little too emphatic with how you are celebrating. To hell with all of them people, because at the end of the day, to win 53 straight games and to win a national championship is not something you do every day. So you shouldn't celebrate like it's something you do every day. You should celebrate excessively. So shout out to the Sooners. Hell yeah, excessive celebration wins again. That has been our Untrained Eye episode, man. It's been a great show. We appreciate you guys like we do every week. We ask you humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, please tag anybody that you know, and please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and the podcast. The whole crew was in the building. We had ETP, who visually was on the left side, but geographically was on the East Coast. In the building. Ellis, the producer, he does, and he does it well. A lot of good content today. We also had the Big Flow Show coming to you from the Middle Coast, Mr. Chi-Town himself, with a lot of good content. And then for me, I am B Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hawk, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy. And this has been our show. The Ball Hawk Sports Talk is where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen get together and talk sports in an entertaining fashion. Like, comment, share, tag, and make sure you follow. We is out. Peace.